Podcast. My name is Herb Howard alongside the great Toussaint Werner. And as we are so, whenever she feels like it pleased to have, E4O is in the building. Hope y'all feeling good out there. Thank y'all so very, very much for choosing to tune in. Please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast page, and share it with somebody that you think would enjoy it or get something out of it. Two, what's happening, good brother?
What's up, family? I'm blessed and highly favored, man. I'm a little tired, but we're going to make it through.
We going to push through, my boy. We going to push through. I'm doing good. E, how are you?
I'm great.
Yeah?
Pretty good. Yep.
I love that for you.
Great.
Yeah.
I love that for you. I love that for you. A lot of things we're going to get into today. We're going to get into some of the more popular topics that's going on. We're going to touch on a couple things that's happening in the sports world. And, of course, we're going to play dinner time as we always do. Where shall we start today?
Let's start with the intellectual thuggery.
Let's start with this. Rest in peace. Race very well run by the now late, always great James Earl Jones.
Yeah, salute to the big homie, man.
Passed away, 93 years old. I'm always respectfully, I'm always like about that. People are always. It's just a tragedy. He's 93, so
it's a blessing.
It's not a tragedy. It's sad and hate to see him go, but it ain't a tragedy. Like, just knock it off. You know what I mean? James Earl Jones, man, if you don't know him, that's on you. I'm not even going to run down the man's resume. It's far too long, and I'll leave out far too much. But he is one of the two greatest voices that I've ever heard in my life. It's only him and Morgan Freeman really in the conversation as far as that goes. He did play Mufasa's voice in is in the original Fences as a stage play, a movie that was popularized by Denzel Washington. I put out on my Twitter that I want people to go watch the two clips of that stage play, Fences as a stage play, specifically the Why You Don't Like Me scene, and just compare and contrast. Denzel Washington is my favorite actor of all time, but the power that James Earl Jones brought to that scene is unmatched. Can't nobody touch it. Denzel can't fuck with it. Like, James Earl Jones was that dude. I remember him in Sandlot. And just being this always a super powerful figure. I think the most light we ever seen. He wasn't light in the movie. I don't know why. I kind of just thought it was a little lighter than some of his other characters who was Coming to America.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, but just always this powerful figure that just had such a presence and commanded a certain level of deference. So I just wanted to say that if y'all got anything y'all want to say on him.
Yeah, I don't have nothing to add, man. Rest in peace, brother.
Same.
Indeed.
I got a question. What age would you say transitions a person's death or transition from being
a tragedy to a race well run?
Yep.
Or
what would be your age, I guess, for yourself?
I mean, I want to be as conservative as possible, so I would say like 85. I mean, once if somebody say somebody passed, like, oh, they was 88, I'd be like, oh, right on, good job, like life well lived, maybe, or whatever. You know what I mean? Now if somebody 54, I'm like, damn, that's right. Young, that's early. You know what I mean? Certainly anything younger than that, you talk about kids and all that, but I just don't. I hit different to me when they 87, 89, 93. It just hit different to me.
Yeah, I don't even think it's an age, though, to be quite honest. You know what I mean? I think it's about what you did, with the time you was allotted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was telling somebody, we was in here the other day talking, and I was telling the older lady who was in here with us that there's a difference between the elder and the old nigga.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a bunch of 85-year-old old niggas. Old people. Let me say old niggas. You know what I mean? But if you haven't done anything with the time you've allotted here, you just grew. You know what I mean? You still wasted the time. That's not a something to celebrate.
Is that in and of itself a tragedy? To get to the end of the road and not having.
It is. I think it's a great way to transition into some of the conversations we want to have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. We had started, man, he was talking before you got in here about just the tragedy of, I know we're not trying to date these, but the tragedy of
Don't kill me when you be doing that type of stuff.
Rich homie Quan passing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Due to a drug overdose.
Suspected.
That's what it is? It's suspected?
I mean, I haven't seen no autopsy report. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. I just want to be.
Well, out of respect. Yeah, okay. Well,
Allegedly.
Yeah, well, that's still how we're gonna speak about it. I just want to
I'm with it.
put the preface.
I'm not negating it. You know, whatever it is, allegedly, yeah, surely. But it's something to be said about when you reach those quote unquote uber levels of success and you still looking for ways to escape. You know what I mean? And it puts into perspective what we value, how we value, and what is really valuable. You know what I mean?
That's 100%, man. I saw him on Mav Hoffa's podcast. The clips from when he was on there came back up, and he was talking about, you know, how he fell into this addiction of drugs and, you know, pills and everything else that they doing these days. And he was like, I had never really done it before. He was like, before I became what was his big song that yeah, whatever. Yeah.
These niggas say
right,
big
type of way. Right. That's how old people do. And then make you feel some type of way. That was actually a different song. But either way, yeah, Type of Way was his first big song. And he said before Type of Way came out, he was never really a drinker. He said, I definitely wasn't on drugs. He's like, but I was going around city to city to city to city, and I couldn't keep up with the demand. I was too damn tired. And one day somebody was like, yo, you want to stay up? Take some of this, take some of that. So I started taking it and it was over with. Dang. He was like, I was every day, every night, I'm waking up to it. I feel like I gotta do it to get on the stage. And it's like, he said, just fell deeper and deeper into it. And then that's at the peak, that's at his height, right? When he putting out some of the biggest songs in the world. But then he had such a meteoric rise and then this instant, you know what I mean, fall. Like it wasn't like that for him. It didn't last that long. He was boom, and it was like, okay, for a minute, and then it's like, I remember buddy, they used to do the like, and he said dealing with that was hard too, right? To shoot to the top like that now, and then so quickly, just as quickly, fall off, and you go from making $60,000-$70,000 a night to now you're not getting booked, and you know the price is different, and people leave, and it's all that, and you was blowing through that money that was first coming like it was gonna be coming forever, and
probably was going through it on drugs too.
High key.
That makes it that much more heart-wrenching for me. When things happen to people, I find myself trying to not make sense of it, but like validate my own grief, I guess, or whatever. Like, okay, what were they doing to be in that situation, type of a thing. And so even with him, it's like we were talking, I was like, he passed from drugs, like people be doing drugs, they be doing stupid shit or whatever. But then stupid stuff. But then when you hear he wasn't even a big drinker and wasn't doing drugs at all, and then because you enter this lifestyle based on what you're saying, or hence what you were saying earlier too, now you're addicted. That makes it harder for me. That makes me more sad now.
To me, it's a little weak. I ain't gonna lie. Like, not to invalidate his experience, but it's just a little weak to let the life eat you up like that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? To me, it's like I don't accept that as a. I mean, I guess ain't no valid reason. Everybody got their own story of how they ended up addicted to whatever, but I don't accept that as this mitigating factor or excuse.
I don't even know if excuses. I don't even know if you need an excuse. Right? I think that pain is the driver, though, in American life. Right? So we might come to the conclusion of, it's just like, you know, we're talking about therapy, or we do talk about therapy, and, you know, people always going like, my trauma this and my trauma that. But if you really keep putting the layers back, by the time you recognize your trauma, you already had the behavior. You know what I mean? Yeah. By the time you recognize the trauma, you already had the behavior. Whatever it is that sparked your trauma at 22, you probably was doing it at 6 because of something your mama or your daddy did to you. You know what I mean?
Because what you're really seeing is the symptoms.
Trauma is kind of the excuse.
Right. You dealing with the symptoms. Even what you identifying as your trauma ain't really your trauma.
Nah. Yeah. By the time you actually see your nose run, the virus is already set in.
Yeah. Right. So part of, like, even when we were just talking about what qualifies as a race well run or life well lived, right? I think that so much of American life is based off stuff outside of the spirit.
True.
Right? True. Outside of your personal journey, outside of love, outside of all the shit that really brings value. Right? And we chase it and we chase it and we chase it and we chase it, and then you get there and you realize this still don't make me fulfilled. right? But the shit that does fulfill you, you don't get to chase in the first fucking place. It ain't in you. It's innate in your environment. It's natural to you.
Yeah.
But we discard all that shit. You know what I mean? And I think that was the interesting part about the conversation to me, because even though, you know, rest in peace to the homie and there's no autopsy or whatever, this isn't an uncommon conversation amongst that demographic.
What's the boy from here that? And I know they was talking about he was trying to hide some pills on the plane or whatever. Yeah.
Juice
But that's for that to be your thought, like, oh, even if it is on some let me hide this from the police, I'm gonna swallow all these pills.
But think about
a lot of his music was.
Think about that though, right?
Very mortal too.
How many people think that, you know, if I could just get to XYZ dollars,
I'll be cool.
Life gets different.
Yeah.
Right?
Money will solve all my problems.
It'll solve all my problems, right? But we have
countless
example after example after example after example. No,
that's not the case.
This ain't it, right? And they, again, I don't know Rich Homie's story,
right?
But even how you explained it, that's not a qualifier for me.
Right.
I was tired, man. Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Who you know gonna go do some cocaine because they tired?
Right.
You know what I mean? Go take a nap, nigga.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I ain't even being funny.
No, I feel you.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
Really, you gave into the influence and the peer pressure is what happened.
Yeah.
It didn't really, like, because you come up with many solutions when you can't make it. You know what I mean? Like, you exhausted.
Can't meet the demand,
Your first mind is not to take a drug because
Nah.
I'm exhausted, but that's still.
Yeah, and I'm not making this easy or nothing, because we all got our own addictions, and it might not be
100%.
drugs, right? It might be food, it might be attention, it might be light, whatever it is.
I don't have any.
Right? But the journey of this life is to become whole with yourself. You know what I mean? And as you do that, you should be overcoming those, whatever those hindrances are. I was watching, what's that girl's name? The little cute girl made the song with Silk the Shocker way back in the day with the Maya. And she was like, man, that boy, his rhythm was the worst.
Terrible,
That song is so
made me like it.
When you think about it now, that song, even when you rapped it back as a kid, you rapped it back the same dumb way.
That stupid cadence. I ain't saying he's lead him, but he's like, roll with me.
He did the Missy dance because
I can't stand the rain.
Oh, I want to hear that Silk the Shocker.
But
you was watching Maya.
I was watching Maya in the interview, and she was like, she's been a vegan for basically most of her life.
Yeah.
But she was like, you know, it started on some relationship shit, but then every year she just started taking away stuff from herself. She would deprive her of stuff she liked to see how much she could go without. And she every year she just.
What do I really need?
I ain't doing this no more, just cause.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's a
solid practice.
I know, I kind of want to do it.
It really is. You know what I mean? That's really what this life is about, man. It's not more and more and more and more. It's really a minimalization. How much can you make it without that makes it really valuable?
What do I really need here?
That's it.
I had this conversation with two different men. We were talking about, I was talking about what I wanted for myself as an entrepreneur, like working for myself. And I said, all I need is XYZ every week. I'm cool as long as I'm able to be comfortable, do the things that I want to do, like I'm good. And I said, I know it's different for men because you all, it's this chase for money, like money. How much do you want? And then, you know, like once you get to whatever that number is or whatever that goal is, you're always going to then one more. So it's like, how do you get around that? Like, how do you get away from that? What is it that you need internally to...
Validation from women.
Yep.
So you can say you cool. Because when the chips fall, you can call somebody. You know what
I know, yeah.
In general.
Yeah.
It don't work like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like our value is equated to...
It's external.
What we bring to the table, right?
One guy, he said... because with money, we feel a gratefulness. I was surprised that he used the word grateful. He said, like, we feel an appreciation or gratefulness. Maybe he meant from women or family or something like that, but I was shocked that he used...
And my response was a societal response, but I'm really on the same shit you say. Women, though. My new direction in life is, fuck that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't mean like I'm letting go of or don't want of.
Yeah.
Man, what it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's just gonna be what it is. And everybody, and I'm gonna curate my environment. If you're not comfortable with that, then you're not supposed to be in this environment.
Yeah.
You know, whoever that might be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you got judgment for that, then you can't fit into this environment. Whoever that might be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, that's very, very real. And I appreciate the story from Maya, because I like, you pull back stuff and you just realize I don't really need much, like for real. I think about like my life when I hurt my foot and being confined literally just to my bedroom, my bathroom. That was like everything. And now, since then, that was 2-3 years ago. I still mostly only go in my bedroom, my bathroom. I don't know when the hell I'd be like in the front of my crib or other bedroom. Like I don't really. It's like, I don't really need shit like that. You know what I mean?
Sunshine, some nature.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. But again,
Couple
right?
laughs.
So part of how America works is that it convinces you of the things you need and desire, right? And they equate all of those things to its level of profit. You know what I mean? Somebody was talking about after the pandemic and how the work from home economy was destroying America and all that type of shit. It wasn't. What it was destroying was travel.
Yeah.
It was destroying gas stations. It was destroying,
They all trying to
right,
redo
like,
now.
no, run me my money. You know what I mean? It was destroying real estate. All these super big corporations and companies that really don't have any real value. No, you're going to come in here and you're going to turn these lights on because ComEd needs this money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're going to go back to work. We could have stayed working from home. That economy could have existed.
Yeah.
No, we need our money. So same thing plays into our relationships. I say it all the time. Government dictates your relationship value. You know what I mean? But we don't see it as such. And we identify so heavily with the constructs that it's almost impossible for us to see beyond them.
It got to be what, 200,000-300,000 conservatively people that enter downtown Chicago on a daily basis for work and whatnot, and like that being an economy unto itself, or a ComEd or whatever. You shut down all the lights and energy in all those buildings for a week is probably crazy. To do it for a year, they like, hey, get these people back in here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
In our downtown, there's a McDonald's on every other corner for the duration of McDonald's. Right? For McDonald's to be considered profitable, I think it has to make at least, at minimum, like $3 to $5 million a year. Every 2 blocks, they making at least. You understand what I'm saying?
That's getting it.
That's math, baby.
That's getting it.
They getting it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So no, come back down here. Run that. We need that. Come back and work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Nah, and I think all of that goes hand in hand. When you talk about the substance abuse, when you talk about the self-medicating, just all those pressures, right? All those external pressures about what you're supposed to be. You, as a person, this Rich Homie's own words, rest in peace, I didn't do these things before I became a megastar. I become a megastar. And everybody else has these expectations on what I should be doing. And I got to be here and I got to be there. And hey, last week, y'all didn't give a damn where I was. Y'all didn't care if I ate. Now I'm supposed to kill myself, literally, to meet y'all standards of schedules and not pipe down.
You know, I couldn't imagine, because I left my job, a month ago. And that first...
And he's like, roll with me.
On Patreon, what we
You know
do.
you want to roll with me.
I said, quit your job, but he's like,
It's been like a month, right? And that first week, I swear I felt behind. The first week, I felt like I should be having, a million different things going on.
Sure.
I should have all of this coming in,
Sure.
this, that, and the third. I had to really like reset, kind of check myself, and just, I couldn't imagine the pressures of somebody shot into the limelight like that, let alone following your shot to, your shoot up to stardom to like then falling.
I got
what I'm
a different
saying?
perspective on that, though. I mean, I got the social perspective. I agree with the social perspective of what it does to your ego, right? Boom, I'm in the right. But in regards to like the pressures of that world, I don't have that same regard. Like, I don't think you work no harder than somebody at IBM. I don't think you work no harder than some. I don't even think you work as hard, to be quite honest with you, right? I've been around enough of them people to know most of their life is in travel.
I don't even think it's work though that's causing the pressure. I think it's the expectations of other people is what I mean. So I guess the point that I'm making is if I felt pressure from myself, right, that wasn't even really real. It was just because I was, but the pressures from the people that have expectations of you because of
Isn't that kind of like the totality of the conversation though? Right? So when everything is plastic,
what's real?
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you get plastic responses, and that's the most plastic of the environment because that's the highest level of entertainment or illusion. You know what I mean? It rolls right into the conversation around this Cam Newton with the sister where she was kind of therapizing him on this show. And he was talking about the multiple baby mothers he has and the children and the homes he's building behind that.
And how he was taking his time
finding his wife. Right? And Cam, in his mind, validated it all because financially he could afford it all.
Sure.
And not only did he validate it through being able to financially afford it, and you can tell that this is like something that Cam struggles with because he's had like 3 other conversations around this that I've seen, and I don't watch Cam like that. I can't take Cam personally.
He's different.
He's different.
I had one interview with him, and aside from being taken aback by how large he was as a person, he's just different. He's different. He's just different.
Yeah, he's different, and not the kind of different I rock with, right?
I should worry that that's one of my friends. That was like one of his favorite player. Like,
oh, he can play though.
Like, he's a dynamic football player.
Okay.
Yeah, he can
but
ball.
his personality is like different. It's an acquired kind of personality,
Okay.
right? But either way, you could tell that this is something that he's trying to work it out in his own mind, justify his behavior in his own mind. Otherwise, he wouldn't keep having these conversations. Talked about the pressure, right? Now you're on a talk show, you opening up your life, people know some of the women. Man, get your ass out of here.
Right.
Be real with yourself and stop trying to sound deep and woke.
So now it's like internally he's dealing with his own, am I here, am I there? You know, you could tell some of that shit going on. But the doctor qualified the conversation through the lens of high value and high functioning. And she kind of leveraged the high value to being able to afford these lifestyles, being able to put these kids in the homes, take care of them all.
Like literally high value.
Right.
Value.
And saying high functioning is where you were missing, Cam.
Right.
Because you don't have the, I don't know, emotional aptitude or intellect, whatever it is you're missing to say this woman here is of value enough for me to not only plant a seed in, but cultivate the relationship as a family with.
It's interesting because that's also who he was in his greatest failures as a football player. He's one of the more gifted athletes to ever step foot on the football field. He could throw it, he could run it. Brother was gifted. Won national championship in the Heisman in college, was the #1 overall pick, rookie of the year, league MVP, took his team to a Super Bowl, but never really reached the heights that people thought he would on a sustained level because he was like, I'm this good. I have these types of abilities, so I don't have to invest in these other areas in terms of, film study or being a good teammate or building these relationships. I don't necessarily have to do those things because I got these things. You know what I mean? And to hear him say those similar things, to me, there's a parallel in that with his own life. I don't have to make these kind of investments because I got these things over here. And it's like, yeah, bro, that's high value, right? I got $100 million, high functioning. I care. I'm here. I'm showing up. Write a check.
I think we're in a time of reckoning, though, bro. And even I thought even the doctor was wrong. I got it how she qualified it, and I think it was easy for our audience to digest. But if you're not the high functioning guy, then you're not a high value person. In my opinion.
I agree.
Period. Right.
That's
so
the real value.
You can't have one without the other, basically.
Well, one
is.
We're using that word. Right.
One is just a tool. It has nothing to do with the kind of human you are. It's just a tool.
The high value.
That's it, right? But that is the one that everybody aspires to. Everybody wants to be next to the tool. Right?
Yeah.
You could have a fucking engine that works perfectly, but if you can't place it into a car to move, what's the value of the fucking engine?
No matter.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. It has no fucking value. So no shot to Rich Homie or anybody else in that world. His goal was to get next to the Capitol. Right? He gets next to it, and all this other shit that he says he never engaged in before.
It's not even aligned with who you are.
It becomes his demise.
Yeah.
Because this ain't really worth shit.
This ain't it.
This ain't it. Not knocking the art. The art is beautiful. The business is corrupt.
Yeah.
The lifestyle.
The lifestyle is corrupt. Right? Marriage conceptually might be beautiful. But when you are Cam, and I'm not putting this on Cam, because women see him as a business too.
Yeah.
Them women, you don't get to be the 7th and 8th baby mama by accident.
I'm so disappointed in the comedian, the latest one, Jazz. Because I followed her before they got together. First of all, she's absolutely gorgeous.
She is.
But I always thought she was funny and thoughtful. And when they got together and she did the interview, and she's like, oh, I like to just rub his head till he go to sleep. And
I know when he sleep because his breathing pattern changed.
Right. All that kind of stuff. And I'm not just going to be the next baby mother. That didn't age well.
And the fact that you even saying because essentially he's saying he's still looking for a wife. I'm being mindful about finding my wife. I'm taking my time finding a wife, but you just
wasn't you, sweetheart. I was disappointed.
And I don't want to blame nobody.
Yeah.
Nah.
Right? Because I think this is the common theme. You know, my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I think more people are in alignment with the Cam thought process, and even the sister Jazz thought process than any other thought process. Right? Like Cam is a eligible bachelor.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck how many baby mamas he got.
No, for sure.
The man got a bag.
He don't either.
You know what I'm saying? The man got a bag. The man he got notoriety. He got fame. He got motion per se. You know what I mean? So that's appealing in a world that when your value is attached to your motion. That don't mean you healed.
No.
That don't mean you at peace with yourself. That don't mean you nice. That don't mean nothing else.
I got some tools.
Because it's like
I got motion.
It's like strip away all these things. You know, who are you then?
Yeah.
That's what I think a lot of people need to do. And when I was saying,
shout out to Maya.
People, yeah, true. When people come up, I didn't watch the interview, so I don't know what he was saying, but and I didn't want to watch it because I didn't want to be turned off just by the conversation. I'm sick of, these types of talks or whatever.
Yeah.
But when people do all this explaining and trying to sound like they are really spiritual and in tune, it's like if you just doing what you want to do, you having your way because you can, because you got the money and because you can, just say that. Like, I don't understand why people can't just say,
that's what I'm on.
I'm an a-hole. I want to do this and I don't want to do that. I don't want a wife.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I just want to have children.
Right.
I want a bunch of kids. I can afford them. This is what I want to do. I feel like when people are trying who you are and your character,
that's manipulative, right?
Yeah.
You're not just presenting it for what it is. When I think you still could, because to Tu's point, that is the societal norm. That's the prevailing thought out here. So if you were just like, yo, I got a bag, I got motion, I'm Cam Newton. I ain't trying to really with you, but you want to rock? He's still gonna have his pick of the litter.
And you still gonna be unhappy.
Cam might be the poster child. Nick Cannon might be the poster child, right? Because they are up front in public, and they also are, at least in their own minds, good parents. Right? They talk about their ability to parent, but we just do the NBA and the NFL. You'd be hard pressed to find one team in either of those leagues where you can't find at least 30% of their roster that got 10 kids.
Dang.
Somebody. You know what I mean? Like, that ain't an uncommon conversation.
That in and of itself tells you everything you need to know about the society.
Right. Because they're victims as much as they're volunteers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the women on the other side of that is playing the exact same game.
Yep. They setting out for it.
And they know how to play it.
They playing the exact. We talked about the young boy at the Houston Rockets who got the older sister who got the baby now. He's on his second baby in his second year in the league.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
By his second woman.
Boom, boom, boom.
You know what I mean? Like,
their women be out there playing the game too.
Business.
I'm gonna got a question because do y'all think because Cam was married, right? Didn't he have like wasn't he married and had like a beautiful family type of thing?
I really don't know that.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know.
Okay, well maybe I made that up then. I thought he was like married or had a woman and I think or something like that. Maybe he was with the girl for a long time. I don't know. But some of the things that I see about Nick Cannon specifically is him sort of not pining over, but sounding regretful over his loss of Mariah Carey. And so I wonder if a lot of his behavior is because of that, like because of that loss. You know how people act out sometimes, or how you rebound from a bad breakup or something like that. I was just thinking was like, I wonder if the way that they're acting, or these behaviors, having all these babies all over the place and stuff like that, is like because of those things. That's just what I was thinking of. So I wonder.
I think there's another part of this, right? Like, you know, Eve's finna be shitting on me in a quick second after I say this, but it is what it is. Even in the context of how we've had this conversation, like you was like, I want this and I want this as an entrepreneur. All I need to have is this baseline and I'm good. And you was like, for the man, you know, it's like y'all need to have these levels and levels and levels and levels.
Money, money, money.
But we're less, in our nature, we're less needy than y'all. Right? So our goal and our push and our drive, it's like a peacock, right? We chase those goals to fit in to be desirable to y'all. I heard this lady say the other day, some kind of therapist kind of motherfucker was like, you know, it's interesting if you watch very, very attractive men and have, because very, very attractive men have had their life, or for most of their life duration, have had women approach them, right? So they're not accustomed to, they're not accustomed to approaching and chasing women.
Yeah.
And she was like, really, and what you find as they get into their older years, you find them with less attractive women.
That's so funny because, go ahead.
Right? And she was like, that's because they begin to value how a woman treats them more than what she looks like, right?
Yeah.
But we've also had a conversation in here about how many times you see an attractive man during the day.
Yeah.
Right? So that motherfucker's like a needle in a haystack. You know what I mean? Like, what's attractive for manhood, nigga? You got to be, you know, Boris Kojo or Denzel Washington, like once in a lifetime ass nigga. You know what I mean?
Cursing.
Oh, my bad. Once in a lifetime brothers. But that's a rarity. Right? But because your life has been lived as Boris Kojo, by the time you in that really matter stage, you can juxtapose the very, very attractive woman and say, I like looking at that, but I know this isn't going to fare well in the future.
Doesn't fulfill me in no real way.
Doesn't fulfill me in no real way. Whereas the average dude spend his whole life chasing Halle Berry.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right. And Halle Berry don't recognize that she Halle Berry and she's insane because every time she open up the door, somebody chasing her down to be next to her.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? I thought that was a very interesting paradigm, but it brings us right back to this game. You know what I mean? So we are told all our lives, this is your only value. And now back to our natural essence. We all want to be in partnership with somebody.
Yeah.
You know?
How does that tie into the situation that Tyrese finds himself in? I mean, I know Tyrese has had lots of ups and downs, and he's talking about having mental breakdowns, and I've had some.
First off, shout out to Tyrese, man.
Okay.
His press run has been amazing this week. Even getting arrested at the end of it for child support. Like, you declared that part of it, brother.
I'm on it.
You're amazing. You stayed in the news.
He did Breakfast Club, Club Shay Shay.
Really? You was everywhere, brother.
Yeah.
Hey, salute to your publicist. And his new video is dope.
Is it?
Salute to him. The music is awesome. I ain't heard.
I've always enjoyed his music.
Yeah.
The video cold though. It's super cold.
They should have never started letting celebrities like show themselves.
Yeah, like cool out, man.
Y'all doing
no cell phone, no social media. Like, you know what I mean?
But I think Tyrese is the victim here.
Yeah, I don't know the story. What's the
lay out the baseline first.
So the whole press run is over his music, but his music, this whole new album is kind of dedicated to
like Marvin Gaye
wife.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
The one, is it the ex-wife that was going around during the interview talking about her girls told her to leave him and all that?
I don't
Remember?
know her story because I ain't paid attention like that. I don't know.
The Indian looking one. Is it that ex-wife?
You know they all pick the Indian looking ones. I don't know. you could mix them up, but they all got the Indian looking one. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to
all
Kamala.
the same bro to me. I don't know.
Shout out to Kamala. Wow.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Jambalaya in the dish. You know what I mean? But no, but when I say I think he's the victim, like we just laughed about his whole press run over the last couple of years. It's all been in response to whatever was happening with that relationship. Mm-hmm. Pre that, you don't got too much on Tyrese that I know about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
maybe I'm off.
But I think there maybe he is a victim, but there's such a thin line between victim and volunteerism.
Well, I'm saying that in the context
and equals press run too. So that kind of makes me the fact that you even have a press run, right? Even though the arrest happened at the end, you're setting these things up.
You gotta promote his album.
You're setting yourself up to look like a victim, of course. Like
no. I want you to hear what I'm saying. The press run is about the album.
No. I know exactly. I hear exactly what you're saying.
The album is about the woman.
Yeah.
The woman broke butt for the rest of these years. You hurt me, right? That's most artists' expression of pain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that whole crying in the camera, all that was about whatever the fallout was from this woman, right? A woman he married, a woman he's claimed I never stepped out on.
Yeah,
I was dedicated to. And from his response to this, it seems like I don't know what's true or what's not true.
Sure.
Who knows, right? Yeah. But I would assume like he was serious about committing to this woman. He built a family with her.
I think that's the girl that was saying that. She went on an interview and was talking about how she would have never left him had it not been for her friend's influence. I think it's the same girl. And I don't know his history and stuff like that, but when you talk about like victim and volunteer, it's an after effect of something. You know what I mean? So she probably won this round. You know what I mean? And when I'm using that term loosely. And he probably won around with the wife prior to that, or the girlfriend prior to that. So it's just like, I don't know, like
dealing with whatever happened before her. I don't know, right?
You talking about?
But to the ugly dude, handsome dude, beautiful woman, treat me right woman, the woman that he did divorce him this time. I know there was a story of she came to meet the handsome white boy, the Paul Walker boy, on the Driver movie set, and ended up with Tyrese.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? But either way, my point is saying all that.
They do be getting
it's a very
moved around the industry,
and y'all be just
that's wild to me too. That's wild to me to be like
proud,
to be like one of these women's like third, fourth husband on the same team or in the same movie or like it's like
that's crazy.
It really ain't all that wild though. It's a secure circle. It's back to the game, right?
It's crazy.
It's back to the game. Some NFL. Somebody just got shot in the chest the other day. Young
rookie from 49ers, Pearsall.
Again, back to the opulence that comes with living those lifestyles. You can only go certain places. It's only going to be certain people. You know what I mean? It's a very small network of people. Even if we dissect our own lives in this city.
True.
9 out of 10 times, the same people going to be at every place you go to.
True.
You know what I mean? At least 7 out of 10.
No, 100%.
And I don't want to hear you dated them first.
Yeah, like how?
You know what I mean?
So?
It's a very circular thing, right? And then when you get those levels of celebrity and that, you know, your world gets smaller, not bigger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Nice.
Rotating them chicks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But either way, my point is saying, and the way I leverage him being the victim is because obviously he's hurt behind it. Obviously he made professed his love publicly. He married you. He was committed to the concept. His story, because I don't know her story, his story was she was a certain kind of woman. Game changed. Like, oh, this is who I really am.
Guide him.
You should be knowing though. Like, I feel like y'all be knowing. We was talking about this. Me and Al actually was having a conversation yesterday, and we were talking about somebody was asking him, did you see any signs? Like, what signs did you see? And I talk about all the time, my ex, Muay Thai ex, how I went out with him 3 times, and after each of those dates, I told myself I'm never talking to him again, and then I ended up in this long-term relationship with them. And the relationship was due to the things from the beginning that I already knew, you know. But spending time with a person, the person fulfilling certain needs that you were lacking in the prior relationship, that we were also talking about.
100%.
But you know, I feel like you be knowing, and you can't be a man that's been married 2-3 times over. I don't know how many times he's been married. You saw what you wanted to see. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You took what you wanted to take. You wanted a beautiful woman. You wanted a woman that can be shown on your arm. You know she came with Paul Walker, and she left with you. Like, come on now. Yeah. I'm not trying to hear it after a while.
No, that's
we all be knowing. Yeah, we be knowing.
While we're talking about some of these sports things and just how things happen to work in some of these industries, there were a few big sports stories that have been going on. One thing that happened was Tyreek Hill, wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins, was on his way to the football game, got pulled over. What should have been a routine traffic stop turned into national news. He was literally snatched out of his car, placed face down on the concrete in the street. And at that point, they stood him up, and then another cop jumped on his back to sit him down on the curb. Whoa. Some of his teammates, also on their way to the game, see Tyreek, his car is different. Yeah. You know, they pull over. What's going on? Cops instantly get on that with them. One of them is just like Calais Campbell's massive human being, but he's coming up as non-threatening as a person his size could possibly be. He's like, oh, we just seeing what's going on. Back up! Whoa! And they just escalating the thing at every single turn.
Where was this?
In Miami.
Right outside the stadium.
Yeah, right outside the stadium. And they just continue to escalate the situation. I think Tyreek wasn't in full compliance with some of the directives, right? They wanted to roll his window down. He rolled it down, gave him his license, then he rolled it back up, and that pissed the cop off. So he goes and knocking on the window, and Tyreek's like, stop banging on my window. And he's like, get out of the car. And Tyreek opens the door. Doors go up in the air. That probably pisses the cop off too, because my doors don't go up in the air. And Tyreek's like, all right, I'm getting out. And Buddy reached all the way in the car. They snatched him out, threw him down. It was just, a similar experience that still nigga. Yeah. Don't matter you out here in a $300,000 car. Yeah. Don't matter we Tyreek. I got your license, right? Yeah. I know, just say Tyreek Hill. Yeah. You are one of the more famous people in America, but definitely in Miami. Like 6 male police officers know who the fuck Tyreek Hill is.
Yeah.
Somebody.
You know what I mean?
Y'all be at them games.
Yeah, like one of y'all is a fucking Miami Dolphins fan, and he's like, he literally just got voted the best player, and he was the number 1 player in the top 100. Yeah. Like, literally.
And y'all wasn't pulling him over for, it's not like it was justified for
allegedly he was speeding. One of the officers, you can hear him in the thing say he was, because they tried to come out and say like, oh, he was doing like $120, $130, but you can hear one of the officers in the body cam footage say, oh, he was doing like 60. But they on like the expressway. You know what I mean?
But nonetheless, it don't justify y'all being aggressive with him.
Nah, y'all overdoing it. But to me, it's just what it is it's a situation that every black person, especially black men, but every black person in America has dealt with and have to deal with when they encounter the police for what should be routine traffic stop. Okay, the man was speeding, give him a ticket, go about your motherfucking business. Why does he ever have to get out of his car? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Right.
It just don't make sense. But your ego bruised, you walk up, you know what I'm saying, and you're trying to exert your power and force on this black man. This happening to be Tyreek Hill just allows a brighter light to be shown on something that happens to us every single day. Yeah. Still nigga.
Yeah. Let's do dinner time and man to man.
Well, but I think it just really breaks down to still nigga.
Still nigga.
You need all the story.
Nah.
It just is what it is. You thing, right? But I don't know if you all have seen the Venezuelan family that bought the home.
No, I haven't seen
the what?
Venezuelan family that bought the home. So I'm equating this to the Tyreek Hill joint in the conversation in general about still nigga, right? Like this Venezuelan home family just got a loan to buy a home for like $300,000-$400,000, something like that.
Yeah.
But perspective is everything, right? How long you been in this country? How much credit did you build?
Right, that's
What
kinda
social security card do you have? You know, all these things that it takes to buy a house.
Yeah.
Right, and they was like, you know, and this is a family, so you got a father and a mother who's probably in their mid 40s or something like that. And there's like, even in Venezuela, I've never lived in anything bigger than one room, right? And I'm gonna wrap this all around to the entirety of the entire conversation, right? We equate each other's value per things, right? A man, in most instances, is valued by the things that he's accomplished over the time or acquired over time. You know what I mean? And I said government dictates our relationship, and I've been saying this for years. You know what I mean? So when you look at Tyreke Evans, who's at the top 0.1% of black people who's being treated like this outside of his job, the job that everybody in the town know he has. What do you think the bottom 50% is treated like in every aspect of life? Right? If a Venezuelan family can buy a $400,000 home without even a social security number, you got to know the game is rigged.
Because how?
Right? And if we can rig it up, we can also rig it down. Right? So when we create these value systems where we align, we foolish.
Ain't no winning it.
I'm gonna look into that story. I hadn't even. That's just gonna piss me off.
Yeah, but it's the reality of it. I'm glad that Tyreke and his teammates walked away from it relatively okay, but I am also glad that people just got to see what it's like. That wasn't a unique experience that Tyreke dealt with. He's probably dealt with it before. It's just now that he's Tyreke Hill, though. You know what I mean? And it's interesting the conversations that get had around it. Of course, your man Stephen A. Smith went.
He probably justified the police.
He went out his way to. Now he tried to preface it with the police were wrong, but he spent more time on if Tyreke would have just rolled his window down, if Tyreke would have just put his hands on the steering wheel, if Tyreke would have just handed the man his license, if Tyreke would have just kept his mouth closed, if Tyreke would.
Is Stephen A. Smith, does he do that for clickbait? Is that just like his brand to go against the grain?
He does, or does he really? He likes being in that top 1% of black men who can drive up in those kind of cars.
Like, I don't understand it.
His skill set is making white folks comfortable while he talks about sports.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
That's his skill set.
Yeah. He was talking, in the conversation, there was two other black men. Shout out to Dominique Foxworth, who's really, really good, playing in the league, but he's also really, really good at talking about sports and keeping things in the proper perspective. Because he was like, man.
Shut up.
No.
But simultaneously, Stephen A. Smith is the highest paid analyst. Right? So he hangs his hat on that. He wears that on his sleeve. Like, 100%. You know who I am, right?
100%.
So I'm
carry it like
that. Yeah, that is his value asset. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I gotta do what I got to do to stay in this position. You know what I mean? They slapped him one time, not physically slapped him, but corrected his behavior one time when he got out of line with a white woman. I think.
Put him back in his place.
Put him right back in his place, and he shut up and apologized.
Hey, little nigga boy.
Right. Hey, you can do it all day over there. You don't do it over here. He corrected his behavior, and he's been going double time over here since that point.
Not surprising to see him do that, but you know.
But when he leaves there, he's a high value man.
I'm a high value man. He come strolling in the stadium.
If he's stripped of all his things, who is he?
A very insecure. Relatively,
but if he got all these things, he's armored up, and he gonna get every chick he want. He gonna have the right address. He gonna get everything he wants. He gonna get all the perks that come with that.
He's not. He's. Let's move into our man-to-man segment. Wish we could have a man-to-man with Stephen A. Smith. Like, hey, bruh, knock it off.
Man, coon.
Right.
Man-to-man. What would you tell these? What advice would you give these young men or older men, but I'll say young men, in regards to coping with life, with like drugs, alcohol?
I wouldn't just tell
negative
men.
vices.
That's one. I would tell both of those people involved in that the journey is where the value is. And don't cope, overcome. Don't cope, overcome. Right? Your pain is not, you can't fix your pain through no pill. You can't smoke it away, you can't snort it away. You can't fix your pain through none of them extremities. You know what I mean? You can't fuck your pain away and have babies to afford your pain away.
Yeah.
It don't work that way.
Yeah.
Right? So what you're going to do is ruin another generation of humans because you ain't dealt with your trauma, so now they're going to deal with it.
Yeah.
Right? Or worse. Because you really are. Herb made a joke last time when the boy Jalen had the baby by the older lady. He was like, we're going to call that baby 401k or we're going to call that baby Cha-Ching.
Yeah.
She ain't lying, right?
Yeah.
But you treat Cha-Ching very differently than you treat your child. And that's just real shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. So now you're just imposing a new level of trauma on a new generation because you ain't dealt with the shit that's hindering you.
I feel like I would tell them, man to man, like, don't be naive. And I mean that towards history, right? Look back and see the mistakes of others so that you don't have to make said mistake. And I think that there is a level of just being naive that comes along with these people even starting down this journey of substance abuse and all of that, that just says, I'm not me, right? And to me, I've always believed every drug addict I've ever known and encountered, right? In terms of when they say things like, oh man, this high is better than sex, or this high is like, it's like, oh, I believe you. I'm straight. Yeah. You know what I mean? I know the wild decisions I've made for sex.
Right.
I could imagine something better than that. Like, no, I'm cool. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's how you end up selling your mama TV and crap like that. That's how you end up dancing in the middle of the street for $2. You know what I mean? Like, we ain't on that. And I just don't think that these shorties really grew up understood. Having sex. They have no reference point. That's real. Yeah, I did. So and
I was trying to say my mama TV.
Right. So at the early age when I was hearing these stories from the addicts in my neighborhood, I'm like, oh, I believe you. You know what I'm saying? And I think that we need to take heed of the stories that come before us and believe in those things and just start to value yourself on a different level, man. To not really put yourself in positions where you think you need this external validation. To hear Rich Homie Quan talk about, you know, these aren't even things I wanted to do. Yeah. These aren't even things that were appealing to me until somebody else was like, hey, and you're like, okay, bruh, no. Like, just be you. It's okay to be different. It's okay to not do what everybody else is doing. That would be, you know, the approach from me, man to man, to these shorties before they get involved in this drug stuff. It's just, we grew up in an era where we saw clucks all the time, and we loved them because they was our neighborhood clucks, but we also made hella fun of them because they were clucks.
Dogged them.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to then turn into that is like, how, Sway? But you don't view it that way. Yeah. Because you a cluck off pills and you a cluck with a Gucci belt on. You a cluck.
It's all the same stuff.
Yeah.
And it's a mixture in those people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, crazy. Nah. So I want to bring back bullying. Yeah. I think taking bullying out of society is not so good either. Yeah. And Cash is just okay doing anything. Like, nah, you a cluck. That's not cool. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
But the music make it cool.
Yeah, the music make it cool. To be a 19-year-old cluck is wild.
Yeah, that is pretty wild.
That ain't it. Shall we have dinner time?
Can I throw a wrench in dinner time?
Uh-oh.
This might be ignorant.
Uh-oh.
For y'all dinner time.
All right.
An intellect and a thug at dinner. Okay? But
wow,
they need to help you get out of paying child support.
What?
In light of the conversation.
You know what? I'll roll with this only because
just today.
Only today.
Just today.
And only because of the two people that I had in mind for my choice for intellect and thug. I'll start.
Because it's going to have to be different. If we don't have a guest, it's going to be different every time. So they got to get you.
Initially, I wanted to kind of match up two people. I wanted two to pick either an intellect or a thug, and I wanted the challenge of trying to find somebody that logically paired. I think she continues to use her power and influence with the AKA. She continues to use her power and influence to dictate the behaviors of those around her. And I feel like I've seen some of the most renowned thugs in my personal life do the very same things. To influence people, to get people to do things they otherwise wouldn't even want to do. I don't think it's a bad skill set at all. Right? We don't call this show intellectual thuggery because we think there's some negative connotation to either of the words. There's value in both. To your objective, Donald Trump knows his way around all the shit. Kamala Harris has great experience in the legal system and could navigate that world. She's also a very good spinster in terms of spinning stories in the way that she wants them to be spun. And at the end of the day, Donald Trump just might get up there like, that ain't my baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, prove it.
He just gonna lie.
Prove it.
Right.
And if you try to say it is, I'm gonna send all my niggas into the DNA test and snatch the samples. You know what I'm saying? My intellect is Donald Trump. My thug, Kamala Harris.
All right.
Only in context of this conversation. Right? I know y'all too young to remember this.
All right.
Bobby Brown got arrested for not paying child support.
Come on, Bobby.
Right? So he's my choice. I don't know, he might be intellect and Bobby gets arrested for like 20 bands of not paying child support. He goes to jail. He's like in the county, right? He's like 3 days in.
Right. And
a radio station, I think it's either in Boston or New York, says they'll pay the entirety of the child support for a week of free interviews.
Wow.
I want to know or be like Bobby Brown if I'm ever in there.
Bobby's the kick this beat up in the studio. So
I told him this. So I told him this.
You got 20 stories ready to go. That's crazy.
Nah. So yeah, Bobby, I don't know which side he lines up on though, because I think that's brilliant and gangster.
And gangster. Damn.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, Bobby serves both of them for me.
I like that. I like that. I like that.
Bobby said, you want what? Oh, I got that. We can do
I got that. 20 interviews?
20.
You got the whole check?
You got the whole bag?
I'm cool.
One time we was doing coke on a new addition to it.
I thought I was cooking chicken, and it was cocaine. It wasn't flour. You ever heard that Bobby Brown story? Where he cooked chicken with
Yes. The best Bobby Brown story is who was it? Fat Cat and them that snatched him?
Who?
Was it Fat Cat?
I don't know.
From Harlem? Fat Cat Nichols?
I don't know.
I don't know if it was Fat Cat.
Oh,
I might be
Rest
capping.
in Peace Act, man, too. Rest in peace to Fat Man Scoop, man.
Yeah.
This is something I want to say real quick too, man. Cause somebody sent me that video of him passing out on stage.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
Why do we share that?
That kind of traumatic
I don't
stuff?
want to see that, bro.
Yeah.
I do not want to see people dying. That's not.
Yeah. No.
I don't want to see that.
No, I'm with you on that. That needs to stop. Rest in peace to Fat Man Scoop. I don't want to put that on Fat Cat's jacket. Fat Cat got enough on his jacket for me to not be 100% sure it's him. But one of the renowned gangster crews from like late 80s, early 90s, Bobby owed them some money, and they kidnapped him, and they called Whitney and said, "Yo,
run me that.
We got Bobby tied up.
And they got him or something. Yeah.
We need, I think it was like $300,000.
Yeah.
Whitney showed up with the black bag.
I heard
$300K for my man.
Hey, man.
She a real one.
That's been floating around recently for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know why it came back up, but that's a true story.
Yeah, that's been floating around recently.
That's a true story.
Yeah.
She messed that man's life up. She owed it to him.
She did owe it to her. She was the reason he was $300 in debt.
Cooking that chicken with that cocaine on it.
Cooking chicken with, put it in the flour.
Put it in the flour. Fry that fucking
Mouth,
okay.
mouth numb as hell.
Frying fish scale.
Stupid as hell.
Mouth super numb. Hey, you got picks?
No, I'm gonna come. I'll come back around next.
How you pose the question that they gotta answer?
All
You
right.
gotta go to the thing.
We don't want to date the thing. Well, in that case, this is as good a place as any to leave the conversation for today, man. Thank y'all so very much for tuning in. Please make sure you hit the like button, make sure you subscribe, and make sure that you share with at least one person that you think would find value in this conversation or perhaps add value to this conversation. Shout out to PI for doing all the hard work behind the camera and for making a slight cameo that y'all may or may not have noticed. For E and 2, I'm Herb. Y'all be good to each other. Peace.
Assalamu alaikum.